You care deeply. You listen closely. You notice what others miss. And yet, you often feel like you're standing just outside the circle. Not rejected. Not ignored. Just not fully connected. If you're a deep thinker, this feeling probably isn't new. You can be surrounded by people, conversations, even laughter, and still feel slightly out of sync. Have you ever been in a group and suddenly felt like you didn't quite belong there? Even though nothing bad was happening, you follow the conversation, but your mind is also tracking tone, timing, and energy. You notice when someone smiles, but their voice sounds tired. You notice when a joke lands, but something about it feels off. And maybe you've wondered, why do I notice this when no one else seems to? The strange part is this. It's not because you don't care enough. It's because you care too much. Deep thinkers don't just hear words. They pick up on pauses, shifts, subtle emotional undercurrents. While others stay on the surface, your mind automatically goes deeper. You're processing meaning, intention, and context, often all at once. That's why conversations rarely feel simple. Do you ever rehearse what you're about to say, then decide it's not worth explaining? Do you ever feel like by the time you finish thinking, the moment has already passed? You think before you speak. You measure impact. You replay sentences in your head, and sometimes choose silence instead. Not because you have nothing to add, but because you're choosing precision over noise. So from the outside you might seem quiet, reserved, hard to read, but inside your inner world is active and alive. Here's the part most people don't realize. Deep thinkers don't feel disconnected because they lack social skills. They feel disconnected because their inner depth doesn't match the environment. Small talk can feel empty. Fast exchanges feel rushed. Surface-level interactions feel unfinished. Have you ever left a conversation feeling tired? Not because it was long, but because it never went anywhere meaningful? So your nervous system stays alert. You're constantly adjusting. Your tone, your words, your reactions, trying to fit something meaningful into a space that doesn't slow down. And over time, that creates distance. Not because you want distance, but because your mind is protecting itself. This is where many deep thinkers start to pull back. You still care. You still show up. But you share less of yourself. You stop explaining everything. You stop correcting misunderstandings. You conserve energy. You don't stop connecting. You just become more selective. And the loneliness that follows isn't about being alone. It's about not being understood. Here's the insight most deep thinkers never hear. You're not disconnected because something is wrong with you. You're disconnected because your depth requires slower, safer, more intentional connection. Most environments don't allow that, so your system adapts. It observes more. It speaks less. It pulls back just enough to stay regulated. That's not emotional distance. That's emotional intelligence in self-defense mode. If this resonates, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're wired for depth, in a world that often moves too fast. In the next video, we'll explore what happens when deep thinkers stop shrinking themselves, and how real connection begins when you no longer translate who you are. If you've ever felt like you care deeply, but still feel disconnected, you're not imagining it. You're just deeper than most spaces are built for.